Hi guys, how you doing? I hope you're all well. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Jasmine. I'm a practicing social worker and I share my experiences here on my channel, both social work and non-social work related. Let's get right into it. So in this video, I wanted to talk to you a bit about my transition from being a social work student to becoming a professional. I feel like it was two completely different experiences, and yeah, I thought maybe if I share my experience, then it might be you might get a thing or two out of it. This was actually recommended by one of my subscribers. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but yeah, I thought it was a really good idea to share my experiences in that aspect. So this is going to be a really chatty video. I didn't do much prep for this, so pardon me if it's a bit like all over the place, but yeah, let's get right into it. So I graduated uni I think it was in 2013, end of 2013, like around November, somewhere there. And when I graduated, I was practicing just as a youth worker. So whilst I was at uni, I did 2 years as a youth support worker. So I worked with children who were in out of home care. So children who are out of home care are basically children who have been taken away from their parents' homes due to safety concerns and placed in group homes. So I was working in these homes as a support worker. My roles were basically around like physical activities, organizing, leisure activities with the kids, emotional well-being, being a mentor, case noting, stuff like that. So it was a good initiation into the social work field. I feel like it really helped me prep for my professional life, basically. So I did that for 2 years, and then once I graduated, I got a case management position in the same field. So still in out of home care, but a case management position. I think it was quite daunting for me, even though I felt like, yeah, I got this down pat, like I've been working in out of home care for this long and blah blah blah. But because the role was completely different, I felt that, like, yeah, I was like, oh my god, how's this actually gonna go? And I think as a social worker, a lot of your work is quite independent as well, so you don't it's not like support work where you go in and today these are the tasks. Like as a support worker, you had days where maybe you had to take the kids out to like an event or something. So we had some fun days, and some days weren't so fun because obviously there were some behavioral issues and stuff like that. But for the most part, your job is clear cut. So when you come to work, you know what you're meant to do. But as a social worker in that field, like I felt like your day is not clear cut. Like you plan your day how you want it to be. And even currently in my role, like even though I'm an intake worker and generally I do assessments and stuff like that, I still get to plan my day, and that is a lot of responsibility for someone who's just come out of uni. So I was a bit like, oh my god, this is like nerve-wracking, and I was too scared to ask questions as well because I feel like Jasmine, you've been recruited for this job, you should know what you're doing. Even though the people there were so lovely, but I don't know, I put this expectation on myself that I needed to know everything. So I had a lot of difficulty like settling into my role as a a first-time social worker. I think another reason why I had a lot of difficulty was I was a social worker in one group home, so they only needed one social worker, so it was just me on my own. But I think if I had gone to a place where like I was in like a center and there was a lot of other people like me, my work would have been a lot easier and I probably wouldn't have struggled as much. So I think probably that's something to consider if you're about to transition from being a student to becoming a professional. I think I'm trying to find an environment where there's a lot of people that are doing the same job that you're doing is definitely helpful, because you have that peer support and you're not the only one who doesn't know what they're doing. You're most likely to have another one or two people that are feeling the same, and you can sort of learn from each other and bounce off each other. So yeah, I don't think that was the best role to start in, because I think that's why I found it so difficult, settling in and becoming confident about what I was doing and stuff like that. And I think, but in saying that, I think over time your confidence definitely develops, like because you start to know what you're doing, and it starts to become easier as well. and you start to be confident enough to ask questions as well, like, you know, how do I do this and what am I meant to do and stuff like that. And it gets better by the day, to be honest, because I think if I went back into that position, like, I'll probably work completely differently now than I did at the time. So definitely my transition from being a social worker to becoming a professional wasn't easy at all. I also talk about this a lot on my channel, that, you know, the way we're taught at uni is completely different to how things are when you start practicing as a professional. I feel like most of the practical stuff is left out at uni. Uni is obviously the theoretical stuff, and it's great to have that base, but most of the time you start and you're like, so what are we doing? Like, you know, what's going on? So I think, yeah, it can be, it's quite difficult. And that's why I guess, like, if you're a student social worker, I think you should subscribe to my channel, because I basically give you like all the practical experiences, like, and it gives you a bit of an idea around what to expect and stuff like that. Because, you know, say in uni you're talking about like define, I don't know, like you're studying maybe psychology, you're defining things, like talking about policy and stuff like that, and they don't even talk about services that you might be working with. And there's certain services that I feel like they're standard, like every social work position you would come across, but they don't talk about it in uni. So it's just completely different. It's a completely different experience, and I felt like uni was definitely easier. Uni went by like that, and it was just, yeah, it just went so quickly. Yeah, I don't remember much from uni, to be honest. And most of the things that I've learned has been on the job or on my own, just through like research and reading and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm downplaying uni, because regardless, you still have to go to uni. You can't practice social work without having a social worker's degree. So you have to go, and they're saying things that, yeah, it's great to learn from uni, but you need to be aware that majority of the stuff you will learn on the job and not at uni as well. So yeah, that was a bit of information about my transition from being a student social worker to becoming a professional social worker. Obviously it wasn't easy, but I think with time, with experience, with learning more and more, with doing YouTube, I've learned so much, and I'm so much more confident in my role compared to how I was when I first started practicing. I hope you guys have found this video helpful. Is there any parts that you can relate to? What is one thing you're hoping to get out of uni before you graduate? And if you've already graduated and you're practicing, what is the one thing that you wish you had been taught at uni? Share it in the comment section below. I'd love to know. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye!